Alrighty, and we're live.
All right. It's Verbal Assault Podcast again.
Yeah.
Possibly our last Friday night recording. We'll switch to Wednesdays.
Yep. So if you've been tuning in on Mixer, make sure you mark this down on your calendar. It might even make things... It's possible that some people just don't do Mixer on Friday nights, and maybe we'll get a couple more viewers on a Wednesday. You know, Friday night, man, that's when people go out, man.
Yeah, all our listeners are cool. They're out doing shit.
Right. Hitting the clubs.
Yeah.
They're getting laid every Friday night. They can't watch. I understand. I know.
Yeah.
Speaking of hitting the club, Brad, how you doing? I know you like hitting the club.
I'm doing all right. I haven't been doing a whole lot of hitting the club lately. My week has mainly consisted of VR, Skyrim, and sumo. And I picked up some lovely dragon's milk.
Oh,
pulled that up for the camera. There we go. Yeah. So
11%, y'all. Look at that, 11%. That's not like 11 proof, so it's only 5.5%.
Yeah, one will do, Brad.
Well, we got one more on deck just in case.
I guess I didn't remember what the percentage was on it, but now I know why they sell them in 4-packs and not 6-packs.
It's a fine percentage.
It's like you're getting your mustache back out, you getting it going.
I mean, this is helping to grow it right now.
Yeah. Dragon's milk will do it. It'll get that handlebar going. I was early today. I didn't have class, so I had all day with nothing to do. It was horrible. I just get depressed and feels like sleeping all day.
Yeah.
And so I just went to the bar earlier than
I was going to ask, did you just drink at the bar then?
No, I was there like 6:30. I only had 2 beers. I can't drink. I don't drink a lot before the podcast, but I was sitting there, and then this old guy who kind of had a biker look to him, he sits down, and he's got his, wireless Bluetooth headset thing in. He's got his phone out. He's smoking a pipe. He asks to borrow my cutter, and he starts smoking a cigar, too. And then he's on his phone, and he's, looking at stocks and shit. And literally every 5 minutes, he's on the phone with a different person. He's like, listen, man, remember I told you I was going to help you out? The Dow is doing this and this on Monday. Sell all that shit. Sell it. And he sounds like an old country man. I can't do this. He sounds like an old redneck. He's like, let me just tell you, just sell it. Sell it all.
When you first said it, he sounded like a fella named School J the jeweler.
I remember that. But he had it curling out to the side, and then he had a long pointy beard down here, all white.
Yeah.
And he's sitting right next to me, and I'm fucking eating a hamburger, and this girl with blue hair just runs over immediately and smashes up in between us, hits my shoulder. And she's like, oh my God, can I get a picture of you and your handlebar mustache? And he's like, why? He's like,
what the fuck do you want, bitch? Fuck off.
She's just like, it's just so cool. Can we take a picture? And then she bumps into me, and I give her, the look. I give her the look.
The look.
And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry for invading your personal space. And then she touches me on the shoulder. If you're sorry about invading my space, why are you also now touching me?
Let's make it worse.
She's probably just a typical social justice warrior.
Blue hair.
She's good at talking about respecting people's whatever, but doesn't really.
Probably has a mustache on her car.
That signifies she drives for Lyft.
No, you never seen those
signifies that
stickers?
she likes mustache rides, Steve-O.
Yeah, and so he was joking. He's like, yeah, sure. So they take a picture, and then she walks away, and he looks at me, he's like, shoot, man, I ought to start charging for mustache rides. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God!
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, we know.
We know. I
You
know
write
what you're
that
saying.
down.
What are you doing? Like a counter poem, an anti-poem?
No. I just feel like I need to write things now.
I've tried that. I tried that whole writing thing until I realized I never actually read the notes I write.
Yeah.
I'll write some down, and then a year later I'll pick it up and I'm like, I fucking wrote that? What the fuck is that stupid shit?
I got really drunk the other night. I did a kind of a solo wassail. Steve-O is a pro at, but I haven't done very many. And I was listening to one of my podcasts where they do a stand-up it's at a stand-up venue, and they pick a name out of the bucket, and somebody comes up to the crowd or from the crowd and does 60 seconds of uninterrupted stand-up. And I was like, oh, I'm going to write some shit down in case I'm ever on this show, in case they ever travel to Florida or they're in the same place I am in Ohio. And I wrote some shit down, but I can't remember where it was.
Hey, that's the first step, though.
I'm thinking about
Just
stand-up
remember
myself, actually. I've been thinking about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Do a little stand-up.
Fuck, we can work that into the sumo thing, too, when we finally start
Sumo
that.
stand-up. Yeah, you mentioned that. That has also, speaking of not wanting to do anything, I just get home and I'm just tired and I can't think about anything. I just lay down, recline, and just sumo's on.
I completely understand.
Japanese. It's in Japanese. I don't have to hear English.
It's great. Yeah. Very
I
common.
don't even have energy to play a video game. There's just nothing. I'm just
Okay, Nathan, you've been watching this sumo live. This probably isn't good pod, but there's a weird commercial that keeps coming on with.
Oh yeah,
Brad, can you describe the guy? He's
so
yeah.
The guy that we've been watching. I don't know if you're still watching the DI stream, but sometimes he'll not cut off the first commercial of the commercial break, and it's some older white guy who's like smiling like this and saying a bunch of stuff, and you can tell it's dubbed. And then they bring up a map of Japan, and it's got a bunch of stars around the borders, and then he puts on a hat, and then
like an explorer hat. He looks. Yeah.
He's got an explorer hat on, and then at the end, it's
like
got
Bayou Billy. You guys remember Bayou Billy? No.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Nintendo game from a long time ago.
Oh.
Anyway, I thought maybe he was a plastic surgeon too, because the commercial that they played last tournament was the Dr. Takatsu commercial.
Oh, I've
where
seen
he's,
that
like,
one
flying
again.
around in a helicopter, talking to people in Dubai, and he's just flying his helicopter.
Could be. They're big on plastic surgery over there. Probably Korea more than Japan. In Korea, that's like
they do the anime eyes.
a girl's getting, it's her graduation present. She gets her eyes. That's a big thing in Korea is getting getting double eyelids.
What?
Do the anime eyes?
White people, we have double eye. Like there's a
where
bend
they
here,
fold.
a fold.
Yeah, they actually.
So
fold,
they
yeah.
actually get a thing to like snip that, so they have eyes that look more like.
I remember
a white
stumbling
eye.
across some video on YouTube about how that
That's
was like a
super
craze.
common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also heard that they're cut the muscles in here so that the corners of their eyes will droop to a more, straight position so they don't look so Asian. And I think it was called, their advertising is Westerneyesing eyes.
Westerneyesing.
Oh.
Westerneyesing.
Oh,
They need me on their team.
that's like dare say that's a poem title, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Wait, what was the word again?
Westerneyesing.
Westerneyesing. You know where to put the dash.
So Becca, you've had a full week in Florida now.
And 2 work days under her belt now.
She's
Two
so
work
tan.
days.
Look at her.
Ha! I'm not tan yet, but I'll get there.
You're maintaining the blonde,
Mm-hmm.
Florida blonde.
And I'm real happy about it. I like it a lot. I feel like.
Well, I can tell you, I'm going to interject. I can tell you what I don't like.
Let me
I'll
tell you what
something about you. You
know
don't
what
know.
I don't like about how you look.
So for some reason, and I could go into detail, but my old iPad required some special activations. And I was going to use it tonight for the show, and I will show this to you. So I put Hangouts, because I did Hangouts when we did the show on the old iPad, so I could use the new iPad to do stuff and read. It helped my eyes. And for some reason, if you can see this screen, I have all of these invitations. Can you see any of that?
I mean, it's blurry, but
Yeah, it
we
is
see
blurry.
rows.
We see that there are invitations.
You see, you have an iPad.
Okay. So I start reading through this and like, what the fuck? My other iPad doesn't have these things. So I start looking through these, and I tap on them, and it says, here we go. Hi, Becca. It's me, Carlos. I want to say hi. That's from Fezzy Christ. And then I've got I got this other guy. He says, "Hi, Becca. Nice to meet you." And
Dave,
it just
Becca's looking very worried right now.
every one of these motherfucking things. Abbas, Dekine, Becca, are you okay over there? And all this, my entire fucking feed is full of shit for Becca. And I go, why is this in my fucking feed?
Because you're logged into Becca's account.
No, it's
okay.
my account. It says Crosstown Beano. So I don't know what setting it is, but all of these, I know I'm trying real hard to get it to see, but there are so fucking many of them.
Oh, man.
Well, guys, if you'd like to hit on Becca, let me give you her phone number right now. It's 865-316-6955.
Apparently, there's a lot of dudes looking for Becca.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you're not responding for me? Jesus.
It's
He's sending dick pics.
Oh!
She's
Do you
busy.
want me to respond?
Yes.
I will.
Dave,
I
no.
will.
Send
I
them a
will
picture of your
respond.
ding dong.
Let me get a 6-sided die, and I'll determine the responses, and we'll roll, and I will respond randomly.
That might be good for the show. Go ahead.
yeah.
Dave, none of that makes any sense.
It
So,
doesn't.
I don't
He'll
understand
just
why
respond
I
with
did
a 3.
that. 222.
So why is this happening?
I don't know. I just was trying to get, and that's where I was started when Steve-O was sending the invites. I was trying to use the old iPad, and I was going, why is this not coming through? I must not be logged in currently, but all of this shit is here. But why is it referring to Becca? I'm just saying. That's creepy.
That's weird.
Bird bitch, beach bitch, Becca to Siggy. Ain't got time for you hoes no more. Unless you want to call in 865-316-6955. Leave her a voicemail.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dave.
Weren't you saying something?
Yeah, I thought Dave was going to say what he didn't like about my appearance.
Oh.
No. It was
Just my appearance in his messages.
Yeah, just your appearance, the overwhelming. I was like, why is this? And I'm thinking, she's on some fucking dating service and it's crossing over or
Somehow,
something.
yeah, that's so
I don't
weird
know.
that it's going to you. Does it
Yeah.
have?
Is it weird? Maybe I just give out Dave's information when
That's right. What am I, her parent? Am I the filter? These guys are okay. No, this guy's creepy. I don't like his name. It's called Fazid. He doesn't even live here. I don't.
It's fucking brilliant. Keep
Yeah,
it up.
Dave, you're basically my bouncer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know.
I mean,
Why?
it's no different except for the frequency. I mean, every once in a while, I'll get something kind of like that on Instagram. Like, someone so and so wants to be able to send you a message, and then you read the message, and it's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? I hope you're okay. Get back to me." And it's it's a profile that has one picture of a girl with their ass showing.
Oh, I get those too.
Yeah.
That's why I have so many Instagram followers, is because they're all bots.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to get away from talking about us to something that's actually important.
Okay.
And that is
A valid reason.
That is
Sumo.
this new fucked up phenomenon of licking ice cream or spitting in drinks in the supermarket and then putting it away.
Oh, fuck that.
I've
You do
seen
that, I
that.
hope you burn.
You don't-
I hope
you haven't
die
seen
in a
this?
fire.
No.
Felony, man. That's a
Yeah.
fucking felony.
Like
Becca,
opening
have
up
you
the
seen
ice
this?
cream from the freezer in the grocery store, licking it
Yeah.
and putting it back.
Okay, I was writing, but you said the girl that licks ice cream, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how they're forcing all ice cream companies to now have a plastic lid.
Are they doing that?
Yeah,
No,
I read an
the-
article
A
about that.
plastic film over it.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
they all
Mayfield's
did. I
has
thought they
always
all.
had
No.
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's does. I don't think any of the other ones particularly.
It was
do.
Bluebell ice cream. The first one that went viral that got, I don't know how many millions
Yeah.
of views. She licks it, puts it back, laughs, haha. Yeah, potentially she's not going to get 20 years, but potentially
she
it's
does.
20 years. And then you had people copy it. Some people even did it and then after turning off the camera went and bought it
That's good.
They
of
still
them.
got arrested. They cracked down on people hard. The guy spitting it. He had some kind of jug of tea.
Fuck that dude,
Spit
man.
into it. Yeah, that is a felony, but it's become.
What's the
internet.
charge? Do you know?
Dave knows.
It's
No job application, or you're not going to have a job after you have a felony like that on your record. Especially
I forget
like
what the
food
official
service.
wording is. But
Tampering with something.
yeah, tampering with public
Consumable-
or
public consumables.
yeah, something to do with consumption.
So it's like the same thing as if somebody went to a salad bar and poured like Visine in the ranch dressing.
That will kill someone.
I thought it. Well, I think kids used to do that when I
Visine?
was in school. They would put like saline solution or whatever in the ranch dressing, and it made people like have
It's
the
supposed
shit.
to act like a laxative.
Yeah, Vaseline does that.
That's still fucked up.
But that's the same thing, right? Like it would be the same charge for tampering with something that is being consumed by the public.
I hope so.
Depends on how deadly the substance is, probably. Like if it was bleach or something, that's way worse than spitting. Probably just spitting in something, I would think. But
I thought it was funny how when the video came out at first, they had the lady's face, blurred. But then after she was arrested, boop, you saw her face.
Fuck her, yeah. Absolutely.
It makes me think that like this story is relevant. So last night I tried to go to Taco Bell, as I have many times. I'm usually about two times a week. Taco Bell. I don't want to go there every day. I don't want them to know me that well, but
Jesus, that's more than I would ever do. But
well, it's across the
All right,
street, and late at night you don't have many options, and you just want something quick. And anyway, so sometime earlier this week, I went to Taco Bell, and they told me, I pulled up to the window, and they said, "I'm very sorry, but unfortunately, our drive-through register is down, and because our lobby is currently closed, we won't be able to serve you." So I kind of
Did they say it that nicely?
He did, yeah. It was the same guy we were talking about, the guy that's always at the window, that recognizes us. It was that guy, and
The
I was
guy
just like,
who you're not sure if he's a girl or a guy, right? I'm not
it's a dude. What I'm not sure about is if he wants something to do with me.
don't assume their pronouns.
Anyway, so
Bigots.
I took it at face value, and I hit that right corner out of the drive-through line and went right to Waffle House. No big deal. Last night, I just got done Ubering, had a good night Ubering, was ready to call it a night, wanted to pick up some tacos, go home, eat my tacos, pull up to the drive-through speaker, same story. We're very sorry, but our drive-through register is down, and we're not going to be able to serve you. I said, okay, wait, so is this like every night now? No. I said, well, I live across the street, and this is now twice in a row that I've tried to come here, and you guys have said the same thing. Oh, what, man? Yeah, man. We had just so many 12-packs, man. Just 12-pack after 12-pack after 12-pack tacos. Everybody, 12-pack tacos.
Right.
And man, I don't know, man. It's like because computer's just not working. I said, it sounds to me like you've just been busy and you don't feel like doing it. No, man. No, I don't know what it is, man. Like just so many 12-packs, man, and the computer just like locked up.
Yeah, no, that's a lie.
And
I'd never go
said,
back.
all right, well, I'm not sure I believe you, but and I left, and then as I was leaving, I stopped at the window to look and see if any of the little window clings had the phone number on it, to tell the bell,
Tell the bell.
tell the bell. And I couldn't see it, but they noticed me looking, and then as I'm pulling past the lobby, I just glance in and I see some girl out there in the lobby, like she's supposed to be cleaning up the lobby, holding a broom, and she looks, she's like like a deer in the headlights, like, oh no, he might tell somebody. Guess what I did?
See, Bill,
Did you do it?
Really?
Guess what I did?
Good.
did you actually do it?
You told the bell.
I called him last night from their parking lot, and I pressed 1 to speak to somebody, and they said, "Oh, we're sorry, we're closed. Please call us during blah 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 hours." But I did not give up. And today, on my way back from a cruise terminal delivery, which are typically long deliveries, I called to tell the bell, and I gave him the whole spiel. I told him what I told you guys, and so he took my number, and he says that here in the next couple of days, I should get a call from upper management to hear my story from me, and that they're gonna look into it and see what's what. And and I told the guys, like, I didn't want to press, because if someone really doesn't want to make my food, I don't want them making my food.
That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
perfect.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't want to go back there. They're going to find
Precisely.
out somebody complained, and they're going to think it was you. And
Yeah.
then you think
Yeah,
about
and I told
what
that
people
guy.
have been doing to this ice cream.
I told the guy, I said, man, I may not go back to this location anymore, but, I don't know if y'all are corporate or if you're a franchise, but, if you're corporate, you guys want to know. And if you're franchise, the owner is definitely going to want to know that these kids have decided that after 10 o'clock, they just don't feel like making tacos anymore.
That's
And
like
they're
the-
open till like 2 or
yeah.
3, dude. It's summer hours now.
Oh my God.
So what are they doing?
I thought it was like 1 o'clock. No, it's
And
like
so
10.
I'm assuming that they're not dumb enough to just shut the store down and the computer down and walk out the door. So they're just hanging out in there for the last 5 hours, not doing anything. But they're still going to be able to look at the numbers and see that their sales went from, we're steady to $0.
That's like the Taco Bell out here on the highway. When I would go there sometimes, they just be like, "Oh, we're out of beans."
Hey, I'm
Okay,
fine with
I'll have
that.
this,
Cool.
we're out of chips.
Yeah.
And
we're out of
this whole-
tortillas. bro.
They did that like 2 or 3 times, and so I'm like, I'm just never coming back, because
Yeah.
either they're lying or they're really stupid that they can't
think.
they don't know they're gonna fucking run out of chips.
Yeah.
This all started with the shake machine.
Uh-huh.
You know,
McDonald's?
You're right.
You
Yeah,
wanna go get
McDonald's
a
and the
shake-
shake machine.
I'm sorry, our shake machine's broke. But I mean,
No, you broke it down too early.
It was broke yesterday, and it's always broke. Our shake machine's broke.
Every day after 8 o'clock, it just breaks.
Yeah.
I think it's become the standard for the graveyard shift 24-hour restaurant employees, because when on Alcoa Highway there's the Sonic and the McDonald's that are both 24 hours, and there were several occasions over several weeks where I would go anytime between midnight and like 3:30 or 4 in the morning, and it got to the point where every single time I went, no matter what time it was between 12:30 and 4, they would say, "We just started to run our night audit papers, so we can't take any orders right now."
Yeah, and that's bullshit. There's no way that a 24-hour location of anything is not set up to take orders during whatever the process is. We're running our night audit, and all of a sudden the store has to shut down for that time.
Well,
That can't be
I worked at a
right.
hotel. I did the night audit at a hotel for a long time, and you couldn't do anything in the system whatsoever after you started to run that process. So you had to wait until everything you had to do was done and make sure that you did everything right before you ran it, because you couldn't fix it or stop it or do anything else. I don't know if it's the same for restaurants, but they should have a specific time that they do it every night. So that's what leads me to believe
Right.
that it was a lie.
Yeah, different times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it just made me so mad. And I would sometimes talk back to them at the drive-thru, but I guess most of the time they had already turned their thing off, because I never got anything back.
Yeah, I would never trust. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Complain
Oh
at
yeah.
one of
If
those places like that.
anytime they don't
Fuck
want to
that.
make your food, then I'm not going to make them make my food.
Mm-mm.
We've been a little too open about where we work, I have to say. But since we've done that, I want to say the technology out there is actually amazing. My wife will get a text when certain things are triggered in a system. And she had gotten a text, I guess, last week that a place had closed. And she immediately texted the individual and said, "Why did you turn off your phones?" And
Nice.
the reply
I love it.
was, "I'm sorry,
Ha!
anxiety."
Oh,
Anxiety.
Got to come up
And
with
then,
something.
then she gets a following text that says, "Hey, the store is now open again."
Wow, that's crazy.
I love it. I fucking love it.
So the technology is out there, and I can't imagine that a company as big as Yum Brands does not have some type of functionality.
Oh yeah,
Number-
and
Well,
I
yeah, they
mean,
just tell people to go away. They're not turning anything off. They're just
yeah,
I think it's
exactly.
a diffusion of responsibility just because there's so many cogs in the machine that if somebody does something on a lower level, it's not till much later that a higher level realizes that happened. And then by that point, it's already too late. The damage has been done.
Yeah,
You're
I
rolling
think
the dice that no one is paying attention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
exactly.
There's stupid
There
kids
are a
assuming.
few folks out there that want to do a good job
Right.
and
Mhm.
will not let that go.
Yeah, there's a couple people out there that live in the town that aren't just tourists that might stop by your location a couple times and are willing to call on your ass.
you guys ever heard of the Pareto principle?
No.
No.
Tell us.
You
No.
might you might have once I explain it. Basically, it's that 20% of your people do 80% of the work.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
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 And think about it, it's painfully true for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I would agree completely.
You right.
Especially
I
now
would
that
agree
Becca's
completely.
not here. It's I'm like, oh yeah, there's all that shit Becca used to clean. Now nobody else is doing it, so it's just me that does this now.
And you
Out
you
of
feel this.
everybody.
You know, I look at it a little differently in the industry where I go, you work with these people so close that, I have put it into context that I'm screwing a friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's
I've
pretty
told people
much,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, because you work alongside these folks all the time and, you
I always talk about the magic work fairy, or the fairy work fairy. Wait, what is it? Fairy work mother. That's it.
Fairy work.
Yeah.
The fairy work mother is going to come along and do this stuff for you. No, it's me and it's him and it's all these other people that you work with that are coming along to do this shit for you.
And I look at it this way, and I'm not picking on you, Nathan, but we talked about this last week. You're not overly personal. If you're having a bad day and whatnot, we have an understanding to stay. He's not having a good day, whatnot. But at the end of the day, when you're transferring over, I just go, I just don't want them to call me out on something because they're my friend.
Right.
And
it's gonna hurt.
And and you want to get it all done. You go, here, I'm handing this off to you, even though I'm leaving. And you got to deal with the rest of the shit. I don't want to leave it more, but it is few and far between. I'm telling you, 20%. I agree with that 100%. 100%. You're screwing your friend, bros.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Do
you
what you're
want to
supposed to
sit, just keep in mind, if you are asking your friend after work, in this industry, I'll buy you a beer or I'll buy you a beer. Keep in mind that same guy that bought you a beer that night or the previous night, and you didn't finish the dish, or you didn't take out the garbage, or you didn't do whatever was required of you at that end, you're screwing that guy that bought you a beer.
And if you make a habit of just always doing the things that you should do that come to mind at the time, and you never purposely say, oh, well, I'm not going to do, fuck it, I'm not going to do that. If you make a habit of always doing those things, when you do fuck up, you can be like, oh, fuck, oh, shit. And then people accept that. Like, oh, yeah, you know what? You never don't do this thing, or you never do this thing. So I believe you that you genuinely did fuck up, and it's a lot easier to take.
Yeah. I've actually had a conversation with somebody at my place of employment that said, what the hell? Why are you going all crazy now? And I go, and I have said, they're going to be here in 30 minutes, man. And they go, so? This is the same guy we hang out with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why do we want to do that to them?
I already know. Yeah, you don't have to tell me.
And I get an eye roll and stuff.
Oh, Dave over here with his integrity or whatever.
Yeah, and I go, I'm carrying out garbage, and I go, I'm running to the garbage. I'm running to the dumpster to get it done because I know that pisses that one person off so fucking much
Yeah.
to come in and take out garbage at the beginning of their shift.
Yeah, every day I'm like it gets to be about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and if we don't have the opening dishes done, I'm like, oh, Gary's gonna be here at like 3:45. We got to get the dishes done.
Not Gary.
And he's
No.
he's a super nice guy, but he'll cut you some jabs if you didn't get your dishes done and stuff. But he's cool and everything. But I'm joking, but I'm also kind of serious. Like Gary's gonna be here any minute. We got to get the dishes done.
Yes, and I go, why do you not wash this one fucking dish, man?
Because it's
This
big.
If you
big.
let it sit here, it all dries, and then
I know the dish.
4 times is I know.
She's been.
Every
It's 4
every
times
day.
as hard. Every other goddamn dish is done, but this one dish.
I asked him one time why. I asked him to his fucking face. I was like, why do you always leave this dish out to dry all day? It makes it so much harder to clean. And he looks up at the drying rack. He goes, there's just no room for it.
Okay, and I challenged
Motherfucker, make room.
I got that same argument, and I said, no. If
You think I'm
stack them-
stupid?
If you stack them like this, there is always room. And they don't dry. What do you mean they don't dry? They're
I'm
all
having
there.
a hard time believing that you don't think I'm stupid right now.
And I think right now is an important point that I have been hiding this fact for months, maybe years.
Maybe millennia.
But I put up my dishes like Steve-O put up
Oh! Yes! Yes!
his dishes. I knew it.
I can hear
Hyper-
that
I
clearly
knew
through the
hyper
door in
dry.
the other room.
We are
Yeah.
hyper drying now.
It-
It
I
only
knew I'd
takes a
get
few
that.
minutes. It only
I
takes a
knew
few
I'd get
minutes to
that.
dry now. Oh man.
And every time I do it, I swear to God, in my head I go, it's an homage.
For the listeners, what he's talking about is, everybody's had a dish rack, and you can take like just picture just a square tub. We call them Lexans or bins or whatever. If you put them just upside down, just straight upside down, that the bottom, which is now up, is parallel to the ground, and the water has no escape. It only like extreme excess will drip off, but the rest will just pool right there because of surface tension will hold it there. But if
not to mention the opposite side lips that
Mhm.
will maintain
will pool
that
around
water.
that lip, that's at the bottom. But if you take it and you lean it on its side and you kind of hook the edge in the bars of the dish rack so that it's at an angle, so that there are no surfaces in the bin that are parallel to the ground, the water has an escape. It will run off, and your dishes will dry so much faster.
Life
And,
hack.
and one of the funny
Working
things
man
was
life hacks.
when
Yeah.
Steve-O was here, and he would
Used to give me
set
so
those
much
up there.
shit.
I would sabotage him.
I don't do it. Yeah.
And I would take a squirt bottle, and I would right before Steve-O would get in, right before
Did
Steve-O
you?
would get to fucking work, I'd take that goddamn squirt ball and I'd go.
I never knew.
Or I would
Never
take a picture. We have a picture at work, and I'd take the water, I'd pick it up, and I'd pour it all over that fucking shit up there.
Listeners,
And
I am finding
when
out
he would
about this
come
right
in,
now.
I'd go, see, man, it doesn't work.
You fucking monster.
And you probably
Gaslighting,
really
man.
had me scratching my head like,
Gaslighting.
what
I
the
did.
fuck, man? What the-
You did. You'd go, no way, man. That's not it.
It's like extra
Something's up.
humid.
It's not how science works. It's not how any of this works. Why is it like this?
I refused to let Steve-O be right until he left.
and I and all along I knew that you knew. I knew you knew, but I couldn't put my finger on why you wouldn't accept it. I
Because
just,
I just wanted.
you just thought it was
just wanna
funny. I
fuck
don't
with-
know.
That's
didn't
almost as
want-
bad as licking ice cream and putting it back.
You know,
Yeah.
you do it once, you go, God damn it, he's right.
I mean,
Well,
if he
fuck
was,
that, he'll never be right again.
if he was spitting on the buckets, it
Yeah.
would be.
Then it would be.
Yeah, why didn't you just spit on the buckets, Dave?
Oh man, but
You know-
yeah, it's been a while. I had to admit that.
And I think I remember telling you, or at least I meant to, that whenever I got here, there were a couple people that do that here.
Spit on the
that
bucket.
hook the lip in the
Mhm.
on the dish rack and have them lean at an angle. And I was so excited about that people do that. I was just stoked. It was such a justification, validation, really.
The other thing about this Pareto principle is that it's universal. It goes across all. It's like 20% of novelists write, like they have 80% of the novels sold.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Stephen King, Danielle Steele.
Right.
Yeah.
20% of the podcasts, like Joe Rogan, how
Yeah.
his views versus how many podcasts are like ours. There's thousands of podcasts with a few listeners, a
Right.
handful, a couple hundred listeners or whatever,
And it's been an old mantra that in the QSR industry, you do 80% of your business in 20% of the time.
Right.
I mean, that's a trained, taught, thing. And I can remember it translates even across when I worked at the airport. You scan bags on a flight. You scan them.
Skin bags? Is that what you call the people flying on the planes?
Yeah. Yeah, instead of soles, we went to skin bags.
We need an extra. We need a seatbelt extender for this extra large skin bag.
Yeah. And we'd have these scanners to scan all these bags, and you'd have to upload the scanner so that you could track bags at the next destination.
Uh-huh.
So if you didn't scan the bags, by the time they got there, it would say, "Hey, this bag showed up here," but it had no idea where it came from. So, and you'd have like 7 scanners, and you'd randomly choose them. But when you would switch out shifts, people would just scan and they just set it down because they didn't want to upload the details. So you'd have a shift change. You'd come in, you got 6 scanners here, and you can only use one because they can only store so much information. So you get to your shift, you go, we only got 1 scanner to do the next 7 flights. Well, that's not going to work because you can only have 2 flights per scan, or in the memory. So you'd have to upload countless scanners. So you're sitting there uploading scanners for 45 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
Before you can even do your beginning of your shift. And you go, why did you do that? Oh, man, I mean, you just have no idea what kind of day we had.
That's why
No,
you use Starlink.
actually, I have every idea of what scan you had today. All of these flights left early. Everything was done. I mean, and even one of them, there only was like, 12 people on the flight. So I have no idea why you didn't scan these bags. Oh man, why you gotta be like that, man? Why you gotta be like that?
You gotta call me out on my own.
Can we all just get along?
You're giving me that day, the day you're making up. I have it now.
Yeah, it's mine. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, but once we have Starlink, maybe you'll be able to upload those faster.
No, that's not.
No.
It
Is that
requires
a transition?
I know
human interaction. And here's one of the things, and we all remember him, and I don't know if he still listens to the show or not, but Tom would say, and keep in mind, I worked for him for a long time. He trained a lot of who I am and how I handle things. And his statement was, people behave neutrally. So if you do things to set them up for success, they will be inclined to do the right thing if it's easy.
Wow.
And
that's a good point.
I wasn't with him until he said, "If it's easy."
Yeah. And
point.
so if you put the stuff on the shelf so that it is as easy as possible to date, to stock, to sort, then they will be inclined to do the right thing because it's easier to do the right thing than it is to not do the right thing.
Yep.
So,
right.
and people are neutral. They will do the easiest thing, the least path of resistance. And to this day, that has proven to be the case.
Yep, it's true.
Starlink, what is this thing?
Never heard of it.
Well,
What?
Honestly, I wasn't even like.
Oh, you weren't actually going to talk about it.
I mean, there's a worthwhile.
Oh, you were talking about light sail. That's what you.
Well, I was
going
to bring up light sail, but Starlink, they for the most part the satellites are working. There's a couple that aren't, and they will deorbit within like 5 years.
Didn't we already do that with 2 of them though?
It could, yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
2 episodes ago.
maybe we did, and then there's one that like they're gonna deorbit just to make sure that the deorbiting part works. You know.
I thought they already did that.
Okay, yeah, maybe we did cover this. I mean, I could talk about light sail.
I thought that's what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I do want to talk about light sail.
Yeah.
So there has been an update, and I'll share this with you guys. There is a beautiful picture that the camera on light sail took of the Earth with some flares, lens flares.
Yeah, looking all round and shit.
Yeah, I know. That's how you
That
know
can't
it's a
be
lie.
right.
That's how you know it's a lie.
It's been doctored.
Yep.
I'm good at Photoshop. Can I get it? If I could get a job at NASA or SpaceX, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, you could totally do this.
Yeah,
but you got to do it on the fly because like SpaceX, they broadcast their launches live, so you're gonna be able to do it fucking fast, man.
yeah. We set it up beforehand, and then we just stream our Photoshops live.
Yeah,
sounds legit.
Yeah.
So Lightsail is outside of its dispenser spacecraft. It launched on a thing called Prox 1. It was built by Georgia Tech, I think. Wait,
George Costanza.
It was built by
Vandalay Industries.
Vandalay Industries built that.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. Okay. So it's exited that thing. It hasn't deployed its sail yet. They've been communicating with it, but they have noticed an anomaly. But the spacecraft is healthy, but they think that they might need to update the software. I'm looking for this quote. They've said that the spacecraft is healthy, and we have every expectation that we'll be able to resolve this issue. But the whole thing is that they have delayed the deployment of the sail to at least July 21st to give their teams enough time.
2024.
What?
2024.
What's 2024?
When they'll actually deploy it.
What? 4 years from now?
Bad joke. Just move
on. They want to give their teams enough time to not feel pressured to deploy the sail too soon, right? Because they were actually, I looked this up today before we started because I was like, wait a minute, no, they shouldn't they have deployed that sail by now? And they've had some issues, some discrepancies between a couple of the sensors, and because they've been testing out their gyros, which allow them to turn on their axis, whichever way they have 3, and you need to be able to roll, yaw, pitch, whatever. And there's some sensors that are giving them weird readings. So instead of going ahead and deploying the sail and risking losing the mission, because once they deploy the sail, they've got about 30 days to get down to the business of sailing, because if they've got this huge sail deployed, then the atmospheric drag, even though they are quite high up, there's still some particles up there that can slow you down. And if they're not sailing with purpose, then they could come down within a month. So they need to make sure that all of their reaction control, or whatever, the gyros, are working right, so they can actually point the sail in the right direction that needs to be before they actually deploy the sail. So as we stand right now, the spacecraft is okay, but there might be some software issues, and they are aiming for no earlier than the 21st of July to open up that sail.
Maybe it was some. Maybe it had some pirates.
Space
software. Space pirates.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to follow the light sail mission, once this sail gets deployed,
because sail and ships and pirates, they really lost an opportunity to name it something pirate themed.
If you Google light sail to mission control, there's a website. I'm showing it here on the stream. I know most people just listen to the audio, but just Google light sail to mission control, and it gives you a bunch of big squares of basic information, and it also shows you the position of light sail. And once the sail has been deployed, you'll be able to use that map to see when it's going to pass over you, and if the time is right, you can see it. And what that'll be determined by is you're going to want to look. If it's over you, you want to look somewhere after, just like shortly after sunset or shortly before sunrise. But you'll be able to use this map to possibly see light sail for yourself.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
To be able to do that.
it'd be kind of like seeing the space station, but smaller. It might not be as bright, but it is highly reflective, so maybe it will be just as bright because the space station wasn't built to be reflective, whereas this was.
Right.
So yeah,
All right.
that's your light sail update.
All right, Brad, tell us about your DNA. Let's
Well,
get all up in that DNA.
I was
Rather than getting your DNA up in us, we're gonna get up into your DNA.
I gotta put some DNA in the toilet because I made a huge mistake and did not pee before we started, and I'm dancing over here.
Well, go ahead and pull it up, Steve-O. Spoiler alert for you. I'm white.
Pull it up. What do I pull up? You didn't send me anything, did you?
Pull up his DNA.
No, go pull down your pants and take
okay.
a spoiler alert, I'm white. Yeah, well, so I did a 23andMe because every year for my birthday, I have to tell my parents, hey, what do you want? And I've had a lot of boring requests like, oh, I need new tires. Will you buy me some tires? And they bought me some tires. And I love my parents, and they're awesome. This year, I was like, I'm a grown-ass man. I can buy whatever the fuck I want whenever I want to buy it, and I can get it here in 2 days. Thank you, Amazon Prime. So
I agree.
I really like it. I don't know what the fuck to ask for. So, and I try to make it easy on my parents. So I'm like, I limit myself to, if it costs more than $100, I'm not going to waste their time with it. Because, yeah, it's a gift for your child. I understand that. That's cool, but they're fucking grown. Anyway, this year I was like, I kind of want to do a DNA test. And at first, they had the sage-like advice of, well, you don't want to do that, A, because they sell it, and B,
what Dave's gonna say.
yeah, I'm kind of doing I'm gonna take Dave's fire away from him before he gets to do it.
You can't do that.
Well, I can, because
Drinking his dragon milk, trying to steal Dave's fire.
I'm good at arguing with people, it turns out.
Until you keep drinking.
Well, that's how we're gonna make it fun, Dave. I'm trying to make it fun. Let me have a sip of this old dragon's milk.
You got
All
the
right.
DNA for that dragon? That's
Well,
okay.
fuck
Somebody
it now.
does.
I already
Large.
gave him the DNA because it was in me the whole time, son.
I know. Why not give somebody something? It's like socialism DNA.
Yeah. So they told me that, and they also were like, well, they can track you down for crimes, and they also said, well, we know you don't have to worry about that, but I really don't.
They're like, or do you? Do you?
They're like, we know what you're gonna do in 20 years.
So let me give you the breakdown of Bradley. Last name retracted.
That can be your first album title.
Bradley, last name
The
retracted.
Breakdown of Bradley.
Bradley Manning.
Well, I actually typed in Brad Sucks into Google once, and it turns out some dude is trying to make money off of it, singing a bunch of sad songs. Type in Brad Sucks, and you may see a picture of me, but anyway.
Picture of you with your face in a stripper's asshole.
Well, they shouldn't have cameras out if they're in that kind of... Anyway. So, I don't know if this is going to focus up, but that big old blue in Europe...
Yeah, now it's focused.
Yeah, it's focused now.
All right, it's not focused anymore.
It was.
Anyway, 99.1% of my DNA is European. So we'll go with that. 96.2 of it is Northwestern European. Break that down even more. 47.8% is United Kingdom and Ireland. I guess I should preface this with saying I had to do a genealogy / ancestry report in school. And I remember it's like, well, of course I have to ask my parents about it. Hey, what the fuck am I? And I was told German, Irish, and Welsh when I was a kid years ago. Okay, let's see how much that breakdown is. British and Irish, 47.8%.
Wait, of the total? Because I thought you were like 90.
Well,
it's 99% European.
It's breaking
Yeah.
it down
Okay,
further.
gotcha.
Yeah. So me
That
as a
goes
child,
along with your last name.
I mean, it's a normal.
It's an English name. It's your last name's English.
It's very common.
Yeah.
So 47.8% is British or Irish. That's the Irish and Welsh part. Welsh has a cool flag. Look that up. It has a dragon on it. 26% is actually French and German, and then it breaks it down even more below it where it says Switzerland and Germany. So I'm part Swiss because those are.
It was Welsh flag, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the Welsh flag. It's the one Kiko has in his garage.
Oh, yeah, it's got a dragon on it.
Badass. Most badass flag I've seen in a long time, besides the old red, white, and blue.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
So 26.4% Switzerland and Germany. So cool. I have 2.9% Scandinavian, neat. 0.3% Finnish, and then 18.7% broadly Northwest European, where they're like, I don't know who's fucking, I don't know. Oh, Steve-O's got the flag up on the stream. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then I have broadly European 2.3%. Here's the other part. This is kind of interesting. Sub-Saharan African 0.9%.
Mm-hmm.
Break that down.
Everybody does, yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's
that's
where
thinking.
humanity began, was in Africa.
I'm 0.1% Nigerian, 0.1% West African, 0.1% broadly Congolese, Southeastern African, 0.8% Congolese, and Southern East African. So
That's where those scary ape monsters live, right?
well, I'm not even.
You mean from the movie Congo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say you
Solomons.
can't say that in 2019. But yeah, I'm not even 1% African. So yeah, that's a fun little breakdown. Here's the real interesting part, though, was I am part Neanderthal, but while I wait for this to load, I have 0 Neanderthal traits. But according to the website I used was 23andMe, I have 334 Neanderthal variants, and that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when I read the part below it, it says this is more than 99% of 23andMe customers.
Well,
So
I thought Neanderthals were just like a step along the way to humans.
No,
I think they lived alongside humans.
Yeah, Neanderthals and humans coexisted.
Okay,
and
so
the Neanderthals died out.
They could mate?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, the parts still match.
They did mate.
Yeah, they did.
I'm living proof that they did mate.
Look at that handlebar mustache. You think you could just get that with human DNA?
No,
look at that
fucking beast DNA.
You think Homo erectus is going to do that?
Yeah. Look at that forehead. Look at that. Look at that slope on the forehead.
I got your erectus right here. Anyway, so scientists at 23andMe identified associations between Neanderthal variants and certain physical traits. If you have certain Neanderthal variants, that means that some of your physical traits may trace back to your Neanderthal parts. So straight hair, 0.
Straight hair?
Straight.
Oh.
I
have no stray hairs.
It's not super curly. I mean,
so it's curly.
It gets curly. Yeah, that's from my dad's side, and I have some questions for my parents when I go see them later this month. Anyway,
did one of y'all fucking Neanderthal?
Good question for my mom.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna whip my phone across the dining room table and say, "Y'all got some explaining to do, right?"
What the fuck? I look more like the goddamn mailman.
So to give you an idea of how new this technology is, so I have more than 99% of all of the customer database of 23andMe Neanderthal DNA. So straight hair, you have 0 Neanderthal variants associated with straighter hair. Okay. All right. Whatever. B, less likely to sneeze after eating dark chocolate. I fucking love dark chocolate. You have 0 Neanderthal traits. Okay, great. Less back hair. You have 0 Neanderthal traits, and I've not seen my back in a long time, but I really don't think there's hair back
I don't think so either.
there. Okay.
You're always wearing tank tops. I don't ever see hair on your back.
That's true. It's hot in Florida. You know that. Height. You have 0 Neanderthal traits associated with your height. So I have 0 Neanderthal traits. However, I have more Neanderthal DNA than 99% of the people that
It's hard to get those
do
traits.
23andMe.
You're the
it could
exception
be-
as opposed to the rule.
It could be,
Which
you
is
know,
cool.
dominant versus recessive going on.
Yeah,
you might
it's
still
totally
have
cool.
the genes. It's just they're not being expressed.
I got those traits.
I
don't
did
know
the
about,
Punnett squares.
I don't
Yeah.
know about the
I
chocolate
don't
one,
think
but
you realize, but you are feeding my arguments the
Who-
more you talk.
People
Well, I'm
sneeze.
just giving you information, Dave. That is no matter to me.
People sneeze after eating dark chocolate. Is that
Really?
like,
No.
huh?
I guess some people.
I
do.
mean,
I have to test it out.
Neanderthals
I
do.
I have eaten dark chocolate and I have sneezed at some point.
Yeah, you got to just now we have to do. We all have to experiment. Maybe we'll get some dark chocolate next week and see if we're Neanderthals.
How
There we
soon
go.
after
I'm down, man.
Everybody
I love
bring
dark
dark
chocolate.
chocolate
I
good
love
for
dark
ya.
chocolate.
Yeah.
next week. I mean Wednesday next week.
Dark chocolate,
chocolate.
is my least favorite of
Add
the
dark
two
chocolate to my
chocolates.
shopping list.
Or
It is my favorite chocolate.
if
I
you-
love dark chocolate. That's
guess-
how I cleaned up during Halloween, trading, I'm making deals.
people that like dark chocolate like black coffee, and
I do
That's
like
not-
black coffee.
I can't stand black coffee.
Now.
that it can't be true.
Well,
Okay, you're right. I like it.
speaking of
you
things
calm
that
down.
can't be true, let me tell you a little bit more about what 23andMe tells you. So they have a trait page, and so here's some traits. Ability to match musical pitch, about 50-50 chance of being able to match a musical pitch.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds-
like you can hold a tune
Good
most
about
of the time.
50-50.
I'll take a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Asparagus odor detection, which means if I eat asparagus when I piss, I can smell it.
Mhm.
Oh,
It
man.
says likely can smell. I will confirm that.
That's the worst.
Back hair, likely little upper back hair. I think that's right, but
That
I
sounds
would
about
also-
right. I'd
I'd also stress very little back hair.
I've not checked out your back too closely, but I can't imagine you've got a bald back.
For Nathan, I ain't no Takayatsu.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like peach.
I call him the bear for a reason.
Yeah, he's the bear, baby. He's good. Anyway, bunions, less likely than average to have a bunion. I don't think I've ever had one.
You don't get those till later, anyways, in life.
Well, I haven't actually done the cheat codes to see how I'm going to die part of this test yet. Where it's
Well-
like, will you get Alzheimer's or will you get, something shitty?
Is that
Yeah,
something
I
you
don't know
have
if
to-
I would want to do that.
But bunions are an effect of your feet and
Are they
being on
calluses
them.
or blisters on your feet? Is that what they are?
Painful ones. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
So I mean,
feet are good.
I'm not saying that it won't. You are too young to be painfully.
How old am I, Dave?
Younger than me. That's all that matters.
Accurate.
So what I'm saying is you may still have bunions, but you probably won't see them for another 10, 15 years.
Well, great. Well, that's a fun
So,
little spoiler alert.
write a
for me
note,
in my life.
Becca. Write
Write a
a
note.
note. We'll
Dave's
check in on
2030 predictions.
Brad's bunions.
Yeah, 30-year predictions right now.
Speaking of checking on Brad's bunions, Kegel just showed up. He heard we were talking about bunions. He had to get in on it.
Got excited.
Could resist. You
About
will-
time. I saw the chat, Kegel. We'll talk about that time. Sure. Anyway, we'll talk later. We'll have a hurricane this year. We're gonna see you soon.
Planning on a hurricane.
Yeah. Steve, where are we going to Kegels for hurricane? Oh, I'm going to Kegels. I don't know. Anyway,
Do what the fuck you want, man.
It depends.
all right.
For me, it depends.
Let's move on. There's more shit. Cheek dimples. Likely no dimples. I don't have any dimples in my face. My brother has all the dimples.
Prove it.
Do you have ass dimples?
Wait,
I don't know. You want me to prove it?
I don't know. If Steve-O lives with you, it's difficult for me to tell. You'd have to moon us on stream.
We're both hetero, straight, white males, so we tend to keep the business locked up.
Right.
Anyway, cleft chin, likely no cleft chin, which is bullshit because under this beard, and I have pictures to prove it, I do have a fine.
It's not bullshit though. It's likely no. That doesn't mean no chance for.
That's true, but it's also like I paid $150 for this shit when it's normally $200.
It's. I mean, you remember in early on.
Unit squares in high school, sophomore year. I remember.
It's like these are likelihoods, but they're not.
They're likelihoods, but when I send my spit to a fucking vendor to say, "Hey, tell me about this shit,"
but I kind of want. No, they're going off of your genes. They're going strictly off of your genes. So if it says it's unlikely, it still means they're not going off a picture of you. They're just going judging based off of your genes. It's unlikely you have a dimple, but not impossible.
So, well, let me tell you a bit about how 23andMe at least tells me how they're figuring this shit out. So the way you do a 23andMe test is you don't eat, drink, smoke, vape for at least 30 minutes before you take the test.
That must have been hard.
It's tough.
The vaping was the hard part. I'll admit that.
You gotta charge that thing up every once in a while anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got extra batteries.
It's fine. And now, like, this is my full-time vape. Like, I don't even fuck with the big.
Which one is that one?
Yeah?
I mean, off subject.
This one's the Cali Burn. Comes with a refillable tank. You can fill it up yourself. It's meant for Nick salts. It cost me $40. It's one of the best vape investments I ever made. Vape game.
Because it looks an awful lot like this one.
Oh, that is very.
It does, but yours doesn't say Cali Burn on the bottom.
No, mine says blue and inexpensive.
Yours says blue, and we know we can charge you because we got some dude that sounds like Matthew McConaughey.
Are you
talking deep into?
Are you refilling your pod thing, or do you have to buy new pods?
I just I just put the pod in.
Okay, that didn't
I don't
answer
want to
his
touch
question
fucking
at
shit.
all.
Yeah. So you're buying new pods. Well, I mean, I'm just telling you, when I switched from Juul to doing this, it's not the same as Brad's, but I have this is refillable. It's replaceable, but you get quite a few uses out of it. I'm just telling you, at some point, you might think about going to a refillable pod type.
You can run a coil into the ground when you can refill the pod, but you can't run a pod that you have to replace with new juice every single time from the store that can't be refilled.
Let me ask you guys.
Nathan looks very enthused by this conversation.
No, I want to ask you guys, since we're on this now, since all you guys vape to one degree or another, and all you guys, not all of you, some of you guys, most of you guys smoke cigarettes to one degree or another, but how many of you started vaping to stop smoking?
I did.
I did.
I had quit cold turkey years before I started vaping, but I always wanted a cigarette when I.
It's what I've noticed is that people that have stopped, started vaping instead of smoking, they last a while and then they go back to smoking and then they just do both, and then they're just vaping even more. Now they're just getting even more nicotine. It's just on when they're inside more too.
Yeah.
I think my situation was I stopped smoking for 1.5 years, and I used the blue cigarettes.
I remember.
And I did that because I was looking for a job at the time, and I didn't, A, want to smell like cigarettes, and B, didn't want to start a new job and have to have cigarette breaks. I'd rather go to the bathroom and hit my blue cigarette and still, be a productive member. It worked for 1.5 years until my wife and I started playing Diablo 3.
Hell yeah.
And I'm smoking vapes and she's smoking cigarettes. And somehow, in the middle of Diablo 3 playthrough, I started smoking again. I can't explain it, but that is what happened. And now I only vape when it rains because I don't want in my particular vehicle, when it rains, it just comes straight fucking in. So I'd rather
I
just
like to
vape
make things complicated.
when it's raining.
Thank you,
No,
man. I couldn't remember the rest.
I have
It's on it.
special situations where I want to smoke cigarettes, and there
Yeah, me
was
too.
there was a brief time when I was feeling really stressed out that I was smoking like almost back to normal again, and also vaping. So yeah, I was getting basically twice the nicotine that I ever was getting, but now it's like I might have one every 2 days, or I might go down to the beach and smoke 6 or 7.
Something
But
about the beach makes you want to smoke cigarettes.
yeah,
6 or
Something about
7.
having a drink in your hand means you
But-
gotta have a cigarette in the other.
but then it stops. Like I go home, I can sit in my house for 7 hours and not even think about a cigarette. But then there's just certain situations where you go to a bar, you want to smoke a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's got to get on this cigar thing, man. You do it once or twice a week, and you look cool when you do it.
Oh,
So what I want to do, I want to look cool.
I don't like the way it makes my mouth taste.
Oh yeah,
So,
they're disgusting.
Have you have you postulized your argument for 23andMe, Brad? Is it official?
I haven't gone through all the fun shit on the people. Well, for the people that are interested in trying to get a 23andMe and spending the money, because it's not. I mean, it's
yeah.
a
Let's
pretty
get
penny.
to the shit that people are really.
Is it
wanting to
how
know.
much
Oh,
is
is there
it
other shit?
actually?
Yeah.
How much is
We can blow through.
Do
this.
we
Wait,
get
what
to-
I was going to ask is, do you need to make an additional request to get the quote unquote "how I'm gonna die" shit, or is it in there? You just haven't looked at it yet.
It's in there. I haven't looked at it yet because they give you you have to go through a tutorial of how to read it, which pretty much says that, well, this is kind of what we got off your genes.
They
It's
want to
kind
make
of-
sure you have
It's like,
It's not
are
a
you
bit-
sure you want to do this?
right.
it's
have
more
some
of-
understanding. Well, just like the dimple thing, like they want to make sure you understand. Like we may say you have a low likelihood of having dimples, but that doesn't mean you don't have dimples. And we may say you have a high likelihood of Alzheimer's, but that doesn't mean you're going to get Alzheimer's. They want to make sure you understand the
I feel
nature
like
of the
tutorial.
information.
I haven't done the tutorial, but I feel like, yeah, you got it spot on that they also want to make sure that you're not going to sue them anytime, and all the waivers you sign and any.
Because they
So
said
the-
you might not get something, but you did get something. Sort
Well,
of thing.
Or vice versa, yeah.
I don't have
Or
the
you
report in front of me,
Flip out
but
or something.
I'll say both my parents have type 2 diabetes, but with the report that I saw on here, it said that I have a 13% of chance of getting type 2 diabetes, but I also feel it's because I knew that earlier, and my parents essentially said, if you get fat, you're fucked, bro. And that's
I wish
probably
my-
why I try
I
to,
wish my parents had done that for me.
yeah, and that's why I work out so much, and that's why I try to eat healthy, is because I don't want to fucking pay into the fucking medical, fucking pharmaceutical, industrial
complex?
complex.
Yeah,
Yes,
I-
thank you, Dave.
I don't want to do that so bad. I still have a broken toe. 3 months later, it's still not. So
I
it's
mean,
probably
broken
healed,
bones, they're good at
it's
that.
probably healed wrong. So
Oh no.
That's I'm
great.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
it don't hurt
Um,
too much.
Yeah, no, broken bones, they can fix that quick. It's the shit that they're like, yeah, we can probably figure out a cure, but there ain't no money in that.
So this
Let's see.
additional
What
stuff.
else you got on? What else you got on there?
You got to
All
go on a website to see this additional stuff. The "how am I going to die" stuff.
Well, maybe we can get the how you're gonna die stuff next week.
Yeah, we'll
and
talk
just
about
see
that later.
If you want to do it,
We'll talk about that later.
you're not
Yeah.
scared.
I'm not scared. I mean, I paid the good money. I might as well get the spoiler.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
get the spoilers. Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't seen
might as well
Avengers
read the
Endgame,
back
but
of
I
the
know
book.
how it ends. I'm
No
sure
matter what.
Thanos dies, and it's bullshit because Thanos wasn't wrong. Anyway,
no matter what, whatever it
that's an
is,
unpopular opinion.
whatever the way you're going to die is so far off. And
Unless, I mean, unless the genetics say you're going to die early of Hosman-Philomen syndrome. I mean, that's different.
it's so rare, Dave. It's so rare for anyone to get that.
You're
I'm gonna
not-
die fucking surfing on top of Steve-O's Prius in the compound in Florida, and then I'll have an effigy put up with my name with bandanas and empty Michelob Ultra bottles in front of it. That's
what it
fine.
It
Or
says you're
dragon
gonna
milk.
get Alzheimer's. That's what I'd be doing. I'll start fucking car surfing first.
I'll start
End it that
grabbing
way.
tits and saying, sorry, I
Brad,
have Alzheimer's.
you're a genius. What we have to do, we have to get a surfboard rack for my car, and then we just put your surfboard on the roof of my car and go driving through the compound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down. Yeah.
There you go. There. Because I don't want anybody to dent up my hood or my roof or anything. But if we put one of those racks up there with your fucking surfboard.
Writing it down right now. Surfboard rack.
And we make sure we get one that's universal because
For
it'll live on your car.
Stevo's Prius.
You got to drive off the end of the get off out on the pier and then get to the end and hit the brakes so he can fly off into the water.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll loosen the board so it goes with you.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Let's get through this list.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 50% of dandruff. I never had dandruff as a kid, but fun fact, I've not washed my hair with shampoo in 4 years. You ever seen a home? Well, think about it. You've ever seen a homeless person and they have beautiful hair and you're like, what the fuck?
No.
Well, I have.
I don't know. I saw
Beach bitch Becky. You'll find out soon enough.
I saw Andy the other day.
Dude, I support that 100%. Your hair will come clean just as fine if you use Ivory soap.
Yeah,
I completely support you
I
on
use
that.
water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian's friend who we go camping with every year. He has not bathed with soap. He'll bathe with hot water. He has in years. He has not bathed with soap. He doesn't use deodorant. He doesn't use toothpaste. He just uses he uses water in a toothbrush and he flosses, but he doesn't use any of that shit. And honestly, he doesn't smell. He doesn't.
It's going good.
He seems fine. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you
He's been
this
doing
too.
that for years.
That's an Adam Carolla thing.
Well, I'll tell you this too, and I guess Steve-O, here's a fun little secret. I haven't used body wash in the shower in 3-4 years. Yeah.
Well,
What are you using anything?
No, hot
just
water.
Just hot water.
And wiping myself off.
That's why them showers are so fast.
I've never smelled you.
I understand.
Yeah, I don't smell.
Yeah,
I know I don't smell.
Yeah.
I use deodorant, but it's one of those. It's not Tom's deodorant. It's from On It, which I am actually wearing an On It shirt because I buy a lot of.
Is it antiperspirant? Or is it just
no,
deodorant?
it makes my armpit smell like cedar, and I like the smell.
I just don't know about that for your
there's a
butthole.
difference.
So
And
it's just a deodorant thing.
I mean, the butthole is
That's
kind
good.
of the priority in the shower. I mean, that's the only spot that you're really going to have any trouble. And maybe I'll buy a bidet soon, treat my butthole as something else.
man, I've been thinking about it. Making a little addition to the toilet. Just,
Oh,
'cause you
Kyle's
can get
got
you can get the attachments that will just clip on.
Oh,
to
yeah,
an
no, it's
existing
going to be an
toilet.
attachment unless I can replace that entire toilet with a Japanese toilet and somehow work with Mario. Because we don't want to bite off more than we can chew right away.
We just got AC.
Yeah, we got the coldest AC on the beach, baby.
Doubt it.
Listeners,
Brand
you guys
new.
don't understand what it's like. You probably do, most of you.
Fucking
the heat of the
first
summer.
world white man's problem of living on the beach, and oh no, it's hot on the beach. Well, I can't have that in my own apartment where I'm in solitude.
Well, I delayed for a long time bringing it up and really pressing for it until I spoke to a couple neighbors and was like, do y'all's AC, do they have a hard time, getting it down to temperature, whatever you have it set, whatever that may be? Like, no, it stays a nice.
I'll be
cool,
back. Steve-O, carry this on.
Stays a nice, cool 72 degrees, and leave it at about 76 during the day. It's able to get down, and oh well, what's your utility bill? And they tell me, I'm like, oh my god, that's like $50-$60 less than ours. Okay, so we're paying $50 or $60 more on a utility bill, and we don't get to be comfortable. And so we finally brought it up to our landlord, and he was kind enough to
Get right, Mario.
he was kind enough to upgrade our AC.
He did it.
He
did it,
and he was very nice
wasn't
about it. And
he wasn't pissed about it.
No, he didn't seem to be. He was a little unbelieving at first, like, oh, he's like, Steve, it's just hot, man. It's real hot in my place too.
Businessman is
And
business.
I was like, wait, just hold on a second, because I've talked to the neighbors and they're all able to be comfortable in their apartments, and this is what their utility bill is.
And he
You
was
gotta,
like,
like-
"You're just a bitch."
You got to invite him over.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
kinda
that's
what- that was
that's
kinda-
Mario style, man. We love him. Like, we appreciate him, but you take the good with the bad.
And
You said invite him in to hang out, and you've got it going, and it's so hot as hell. You get him to sit down, and you just draw it out as long as you can. Get a big thing of fucking iced tea, and just set it on the table. Don't give him any, and just have him look at it.
And watch
say,
them
"Hey."
stand.
Say,
That seems like a rude
yeah.
host.
How do you
actually.
feel? How do you feel right now?
But
Sucks in here, doesn't
find some kind of like transparent hot sauce to put in it, and so when he does take a drink,
it? Transparent hot sauce.
We're just turning our heat
I'm
on,
writing that
actually.
down. Transparent hot sauce.
yeah. But we got the vote of confidence. I called him afterwards. I actually had to leave like 15 minutes after the AC guys left, and so I called him on the way to get my oil changed, and I was like, Mario, I just want to let you know that we really appreciate it. I can already tell. He started like, oh, well, is it nice and cold in there now? Like, kind of, like jabbing at me, and I'm like, well, actually, it dropped a degree. Dropped 1 degree in the 15 minutes I was there, and this time of day, it was like 1 o'clock. This time of day, it never would have dropped a degree.
Gets
this
my dick
time
hard
of year.
seeing it,
It
seeing
would
drop
it
a
would
degree
only
like that.
slowly climb throughout the day, and the AC would be pumping constantly. It would never stop. And so I was like, genuinely, Mario, we really appreciate this. And he's like, Steve, we love you guys, and if it was anybody else, we'd have told you to leave. And I was like, well, thank you for not doing that. Thank you.
We
love
like
this.
paying you money, Mario.
Yeah,
and we're not going to trash the place.
Yep. I told him, I know you're not trying to spend money. You're trying to make money, but
I understand.
we really appreciate it. And Mario, if you're out there, there's not a chance you're out there, but
Mario, you ain't listening to this shit. I love you, but I get it. Anyway, let's talk about some other shit.
Well, wait a minute now. I'm deserved of a
Brad.
rebuttal.
Yeah.
Where's the rebuttal?
Brad, save the rest of yours along with your death questions for next week, and then let's hear Dave. Let's hear Dave bitch at you like an old man.
So you guys don't want to hear about my genetics. You just want Dave to yell at me. Okay.
No, we're running out of time, and we'll spread it out the next week.
Yeah, I'm not going to bitch at you. I certainly don't want you to take it personal. I mean, but
he will.
But here's a big.
Brad always takes it personal. He always.
I look at Ancestry, 23andMe, whatever.
That's why I had to get the third dragon milk.
Any and all of those genetic things, I treat it just like anything in the real world of technology, which is if you're an early adopter, it's unlikely that you're going to get the truest experience.
Which I admit I will say I will agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's to some degree early on from a corporate standpoint, it's smoke and mirrors. If anything that you're reading about your genetic background uses descriptive words like unlikely, uncommon, or vague references to that, that's not science. Science says this is what it is, and this is how it is. And when you're going through anything that says you are more inclined to be this or more inclined to be that, it's very vague.
Right.
So you're in the genesis of a movement. So
right, yeah. I agree with that.
You are paying, or someone, to take the personal aspect out of it, someone is paying for that corporation or that entity's learning curve. So it's very interesting.
And they're getting your info they're giving you some cool stuff, and then they're taking that info and they're going to sell it to medical companies, and that's where they're going to make.
I agree, and I knew that.
But more importantly,
there will be benefits from this too.
But more importantly, how much of that information that you're looking at as you read it from top to bottom that you can actually quote is a specific reference that is unquestionable, and there's nothing. It's all relative. 99% you're a Neanderthal. And of that 99%, 96% of that is this. And of that percent, a certain percentage that is this. But we're really not really sure. And I'm telling you that the data that will be available 10 years from now will be way more accurate than the data you're looking at now, because they will have a larger pool to replicate your genetic signature.
Right. This is like the best they can do with where
Oh,
we
yeah.
are now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of rolling a 6-sided die for your results, they're rolling maybe a 4-sided die. Or even early enough, they're flipping a motherfucking coin. But at the end of the day, you're going, this is the data I have, and I'm postulating in reference to a figure that is based on, a certain section of the population. And I've already told you that once 1.2 million people, we've talked about this previously in the show, once 1.2 million people have submitted their data, their DNA signature, then everyone is covered to some degree, but only degree. Yeah. So,
but it's going to be mostly Americans, right? And that's.
Well, I mean, we have the most free money to spend, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Here's my thing. The woman that founded 23andMe is Ann Wojcicki, however you say it, and she is married to one of the founders of Google, and they're all Luciferian, Illuminati, evil, fucking Silicon Valley.
I'm not even going to dispute that conspiracy theory, because it could quite literally be possible. But it's
evil
so
empire.
New.
If there's an evil empire, it's a Google, Silicon Valley.
It's so new that you can't really trust this data. And here I go, and I have. Now here's my family crest.
Wow.
And it's cool.
Did you get that in Gatlinburg?
But no,
I know you can get it in Gatlinburg.
Crest.
Fucking Francis family, get out of here! I'm just playing.
This family crest came
we
from.
Even see it.
Oh, god damn it!
Hold it up.
Yeah, you didn't hold it up right the first time.
Can you see it?
Well, yeah, except
get your
for your
arm
shoulder
and your big ass microphone out of the way.
Dave, hold it.
Go to the other side. Switch sides.
Hold it in front of the microphone.
Hold it in front of your.
There you go.
Yeah.
In front of the microphone.
No, that's
microphone.
That's cool.
That's dope.
He's got a helmet.
Yeah, he's got a helmet. Yeah.
We received that without any genetic data.
Well, you knew your own shit, which is the old-timey way of doing this shit.
I really don't want you to take it personal.
Is related to Napoleon.
I don't want you to be on the defensive like I'm torturing you or persecuting you. I'm just saying early on, I don't think this data is accurate.
I'll say I'm not taking it personal, but I've also filled out half a lawyer notepad with shit to rebuttal. So I'll say that.
Dave didn't even really, he didn't really rip into you the way I was hoping, so it's not.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Nathan, I'm writing shit down for you.
That I didn't give the entertainment value, but what I'm saying is, just like early adopting, computers, cell phones, whatever it is, you jump on that technology because it's new, it's cool, and you want to be a part of it. But at this time, I don't think it's viable data. I certainly wouldn't want to go forward in my life. I would, if they said you're inclined to have Hodgkin's disease, well, you can bet your sweet ass I would go get tested for it immediately, even on their suggestion.
The bad Hodgkins.
Huh?
Good Hodgkins or bad Hodgkins?
Is there
I don't even know that there's a good Hodgkin.
That's a Curb Your Enthusiasm joke.
Oh, no. I don't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I don't want to rip into you. I just want to say, I'm just pointing out that, it doesn't, the data that you have is only as good as the data they can compare it against. And if your report is full of non-descriptor words that give them a lot of wiggle room,
Right.
It's just not viable.
He's basically slamming
not
your
science.
parent. He's slamming your parents' gift to you.
He's
No,
saying
no,
you wasted
no,
your money.
no, he's not
saying
doing.
it's a
He's
I
not
mean,
doing that.
It's a
My
shitty
issue, and my father, and God knows, I come from a great support line, but my dad thought it was cool, it was neat, and my response to him was, well, it's great that you are feeding the information for the next generation of more accurate data,
Yeah.
because
Right.
the data now is just not.
It's
And if
always
no- and if
all going to
nothing
be that
else,
way.
if-
It's
If
What's
nothing
that,
else,
Nathan?
just yeah, go ahead.
so it's always going to be that way.
Well,
It'll be
at
more
some
refined
point,
over time,
at
but
some
Yeah.
point, if you get enough people to sign on, you're going to have more data than the population is.
I'm just
increasing.
saying, whatever it is, it's always increasing.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
whatever
the
technology
diversity, especially in genes, the diversity is always increasing.
So I when I was going through this, I was thinking, I thought, I'm not going to beat Brad up about this, because he's only trusting the data that's given to him. And my argument is, first of all, you're giving your data away, and you're not getting what you're giving away.
Right.
You're giving your data
Right.
away for a future postulation of a theory, whereas
that you should
right
probably
now,
take with a grain of salt.
yeah,
Really,
pretty
like
much.
I
Exactly.
think that's the takeaway
yeah.
is that
No,
like
no, I've
it's such
taken all-
it's such
There's
an
a reason I haven't
early
looked at it
technology.
since before the last podcast.
Yeah, it's such an early technology that
It's
if
a grain of salt.
you receive some bad news from this report, then take it with a huge grain of salt.
It's like walking into a doctor's office and you go, I've got this lump. I'm really concerned about it. And, the doctor's going, oh, I see that's really, I see it concerns you. But, he's on Facebook the whole time. He's not even interested. So,
Yeah.
You're just kind of there. And they're just pulling data from you and then sharing that data. And I would rather hold off on giving my shit away. I wasn't given that opportunity. It's gone now. I mean, my genetic information is out in the
You had
sphere
your
of
DNA
genetics,
forcibly extracted.
and I can't combat it. I can't say
It
anything
is
about
possible to rape men.
it. I
Where
don't
did
know.
that come from?
Came
Wow.
from my desire to tell a joke.
Oh,
Brad,
You came
give
on.
give us your final word on this tonight. We're gonna wrap this up.
I don't know. I got arguments to fucking make right now. I wrote some shit down.
Whip them out real quick.
Dave got off camera, so I can only trust that he's going to the restroom, so he can't fucking. All right. DNA will change from person to person. DNA can change during your lifetime. Example, the test said you probably don't like cilantro. I hated cilantro.
Motherfucker
Your DNA
loves
don't
cilantro.
change unless you're hanging
Yeah,
around
I hated
Chernobyl.
cilantro as a kid. I fucking love cilantro now. That fucking changed
No,
at
your
some point.
genes switch on and off.
Yes, your genes switch on and off. Yes, I agree.
true.
So what you are getting
That's
when you
true.
spit in the vial and send it off is you get a little snapshot
Dave,
of what your life is.
If
which
you
is
go
fine.
and if you go and travel to a new environment, like if you were to fly to Europe, it would actually you would have different genes that would switch on.
Your genes flip on and off all the time. That's fine. I already knew that. That's completely cool. Okay.
It's true.
All right. I got through that point. Another thing is so they give you options of, hey, can we share this information with other people? I said, no, fuck you. Hey, can we store it for 10 years? I said yes, because the government already fucking stores all my internet information, and I might as well give them the genetic information, and I am no longer having to deal with any kind of felony, so don't give a fuck about that. All right. Third point, they told me that if shit got better, they would retest it. So, yeah, I told them to store it because they said that if the shit's going to get better, they'll retest your DNA and upgrade your results.
Yeah,
Because with the first gen of any product, like we saw earlier with Dave and his iPad with the IR sensor on the front, because that's a Gen 2 iPad or a Gen 1 iPad, and that is awesome that you kept a hold of that antique. but that is it. It gets better with generations because I've got a fucking iPad Pro first gen, and they're still upgrading it, which is great. And it's fucking. I love my iPad, and I treat it like a fucking baby still. So, yes, with the first generation of any product, yes, they're going to say, hey, maybe or likely or any of that shit. I totally understand that because they're going to make a better product, which I've saved my product, which is just my spit in a fucking barrel somewhere, and they're going to retest it later. And then I had something for Nathan. It's Silicon Valley and the Church of Lucifer, and that's all I wrote. Well, the Church of Lucifer is actually pretty chill if you think about it, because they're like, don't fuck anybody over and keep to yourself.
I'm not talking about the Church of Satan. I'm talking about.
Well, that's what I wrote down, Nathan, and that's
I'm talking about real devil worshippers. That
Luciferians.
Well, the devil worshippers are all the fucking same.
That have literal sex temples on islands.
Okay, that's a bit deeper than where I was going to go, but I'm still going to say where I was going to go. It's like the real devil worshippers are.
Have you seen the picture of Jeffrey Epstein's sex temple on his fucking island that he owns?
No, I have not. And
have you guys been paying attention to this guy being arrested?
I know what it is, but I have not been paying attention.
All right, that's the end of the show.
I wrote down more.
He's an asshole.
Becca.
He's just another asshole.
Hello, everyone. I have
a
poem for you. I believe you already all know the name. Westerneyesing. Sell it all. Something that's actually worth something. Give your team some time. It's possible that some of them just don't want to deploy the sale. Now I know why. They're just tired. Appearance is overwhelming when it's become the standard. To never turn off, to get it all done. The excess has no escape. If you're not getting what you're giving away, it's a lot harder to take.
Becca, when's your book coming out?
2024.
I need a hobby, so soon.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you, everyone, for a great podcast. Thank you to Haywood Banks for our theme song. Everybody, check out on YouTube. Check out, if you want to see this video later, Verbal Assault podcast on YouTube. Also, check out No More Popcorn on YouTube. This week's review is of Birdemic, the worst movie ever made. And if you want to see Brian, Patrick, and I reenact one of the scenes, and if you want to see Brian lick my bald head, watch that video.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I've already seen it.
Watch that video.
Pulling it up right now.
Really?
And speaking of videos, if you've never caught us doing this live, how about Wednesday night? Because we're going to start doing it on Wednesdays. Mixer.com.
Fuck Fridays. We all have plans on Fridays.
Mixer.com/Verbal Assault Podcast. You can throw some dough at us at Patreon.com/Verbal Assault.
Yep.
And we are, of course, on Twitter, _Verbal Assault _. That's Verbal Assault surrounded by underscores.
One on each side.
You already know that voicemail number, don't you?
Oh, yeah, voicemail.
865-316-6955. Call and hit on Becca, or say any other shit you want, because it's an open line and you can do that.
You can hit on it. You can hit on any of us.
You can hit on any of us. You can say, Nathan, I want to touch your head.
You want to lick my bald head?
Every time you say that sentence, I feel like it's going to end differently.
You want to lick my...
If you want to lick on Nathan's bald head, well, why don't you call 865-316-6955 and tell him and make him believe that you actually want to come to his remote location and stick his dick in your mouth. I mean, we can make dreams happen.
My ball.
We can make it happen right on the podcast.
Just shorten it to lick my bald.
Okay.
That's funny.
All right.
All right.
Deuces!